Hello and welcome back to another episode of WolfPack React, brought to you by WolfPack Media. I'm your co-host, Benaiah Husemann. So today we're going to be reacting to a few videos from the New York Capitol building, actually, where Tom Homan went. So apparently Tom Homan went here to give a press conference and an update on what's going on with ICE and going over what they've been doing, deporting these illegal immigrants, getting them out of our country. More specifically, violent offenders, and trying to get them out to make our community safer. And we are going to see how the liberals are reacting to this.
No fear, no hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear.
Now, the first thing I just gotta say is he is completely unbothered. Just sitting there eating an apple. Like, Tom Homan knows that these people are just virtue signaling. These people are just making noise. At the end of the day, Tom Homan knows he's doing the right thing. And he's trying to keep our community safe. Do you think that he feels bad about this? About deporting violent offenders? Getting rid of rapists, getting rid of murderers out of our country to keep our families safe and our community safe? No. And he shouldn't. He shouldn't feel bad one bit about it.
Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear.
He's asking him whether he believes in the First Amendment. So, why is he asking him that, for one? I mean, obviously you have a right to your freedom of speech. I mean, you're obviously doing it. I would say you're probably doing more by pushing police back. And that's just me. Screaming in the face of a police officer who's just there to do his duty.
Hope you got stuck in that elevator.
Couldn't these people easily be arrested for disturbing the peace? You know what I mean? And more specifically, I wanted to focus on this guy, Zohran Mamdani, I think is how you pronounce it, a New York assemblyman and New York mayoral candidate. So apparently this guy is actually like doing decent in the polls, which should alarm a lot of people that this maniac is actually leading in the polls.
How many more New Yorkers want charged? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan? How many more New Yorkers will the charge that target?
You know? And I like how when it's the Democrats who stage an insurrection and break into a Capitol building and try to push back and overwhelm police officers, it's, oh, you don't believe in the First Amendment. But when Trump supporters do it, it's the biggest attack on democracy in the history of our country. And they make a massive deal about it. I doubt these people are going to get even a slap on the wrist for this. You know? Now we're going to see what Tom Homan has to say about this.
You know, I always hear all the time, family separation. Homan's the godfather of family separation. Let me be clear. Zero tolerance is about saving lives. If we figure we start prosecuting people who violate the law and put the children in harm's way, maybe they stop coming. And they did. Numbers went down. It's unfortunate, family.
And do you understand the point he's trying to do? If you incentivize these people to come over, they're going to come over. And that's exactly what the Biden administration was doing. When you allow people to come over, then these people feel like, oh, there's no consequences. We can just come. And if we do commit a crime, we get let back in. And we're incentivized to do it. But when there's consequences to your actions, like Tom Homan is saying, you're probably not going to be coming back over. You're probably not even going to attempt it in the first place. You have to make them respect our borders first.
Got separated. But it happens to American families every day. It's going to happen in Albany today that American family will be separated by law enforcement because the child can't go to jail with a parent. But we want to talk about family separation? 500,000 children on Joe Biden were trafficked into this country. They can't find 300,000 of them. That's a separation. But you know what?
You see the point that he's trying to make, though? Like, if you hear on the, like, let's just say I were to commit a crime, let's just say I was going to steal a car, you know? If I go to jail, I'm going to be separated from my family. There's consequences to your actions. Because I have a family, does that mean, oh, you can't take him to jail because you're going to be separated from your family? Like, duh. That's how it works.
President Trump's committed. We're going to find them, and we're going to save them, because many of these children are in forced labor, many of these children are in forced sex slavery. We're going to save them. This administration.
Yeah, they're talking about families being separated because the parents do something incredibly irresponsible, and the first thing that they do is that they break a law to get into our country. You break a federal law, and yes, it is a crime. I know there's a lot of people that try to say it isn't a crime. Yes, it is. Under federal law, it is a crime to illegally cross our borders undocumented. That is a crime. They try to sugarcoat it and say undocumented. No, you're an illegal criminal. You're a criminal. If you commit a crime, you are a criminal. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, like, if I commit a crime, I'm a criminal. I can't say, oh, well, technically, no. You broke the law, you're a criminal, right? And then the point he's also making about how, what about all the kids that are being sex trafficked here? They're coming in, they're being separated from their family, and they're being sex trafficked. But they don't want to talk about that. They only want to talk about the violent criminals that are being rounded up, the violent freaking rapists and murderers that are being rounded up, and they're being taken away from their family. Well, maybe if they didn't commit a crime, they wouldn't be separated from their family in the first place. How about let's worry about the kids that are being sex trafficked on a daily basis? But the mainstream media doesn't want to cover that, do they?
Administration.
Very well said by Tom Homan, and I like the fact that he isn't fazed by these protesters in the slightest. Now let's look at these statistics. $16.2 billion in Medicare costs for illegals under the Biden administration. And guess who's footing the bill? Taxpayers like me and you. 300 to 400% increase in illegal immigration encounters. Why? Well, because of what I was talking about earlier. When you incentivize something, it's going to be happening more. Under Trump's first term, these numbers increased under Biden because it wasn't incentivized during Trump's first terms. But when you incentivize it and you just give them a slap on the wrist, it tells them, oh, we can come over. 60 to 70% drop in ICE removals during the Biden administration. So that tells you not only there are more encounters at the border and more people are coming in because they're incentivized by it, but also at the same time, this is what I'm talking about, guys. When you don't remove them, they know they can cross the border without being removed. And even if they are arrested, they're just released again. That's going to incentivize them to come over. I mean, this is common sense, right, guys? This isn't very hard to understand. And then there's 50 to 60% decrease in targeted arrests. So he wasn't even looking. They weren't even looking for these violent criminals and trying to get them out in the first place. It's coordinated. They were doing it on purpose to get more voters, guys. That's what it was. And that's why they're against voter ID. I mean, anybody who has a driver's license, anybody who has a tax ID number, you have to have an ID, right? It's like one of the most basic fundamental things you have to have is an ID. So if you have an ID, no, you shouldn't be able to vote. That isn't discriminating against people. That's just a very basic necessity in society to function, right? I mean, let me know what you guys think. Do you think that voter ID should be required? Because it's not right now. I can definitely tell you it's not. And they're fighting against it. Do you like these numbers? And do you guys believe that the Biden administration was purposely incentivizing these people to come over? And they didn't care if they committed violent crimes because, oh, well, they were getting more voters. They were getting millions more voters. So who cares if a bunch of thousands of people are murdered and raped on a daily basis? It happens here anyway, already with our own citizens, so who cares? Because that's the argument I get from a lot of liberals. Well, United States citizens commit crimes too. Unbelievable. These are the illegal aliens crime stats reported last year. And this number is probably outdated too, because this was in April of 2024. So that must have been from 2023. 33,000 assaults, 1,700 homicides, 3,000 robberies, 4,300 sex crimes, 6,900 burglaries, and 7,500 weapons charges. Oh, but your daily thing that you hear from the news is, oh, it's not that many, and U.S. citizens commit these crimes anyway. 33,000 assaults, that's not much. 1,700 homicides, who cares? It's insanity, guys. It's insanity. Now, this, I can't wait for this to be updated, but look at this. February 2022, illegal border crossings under Biden-Harris, 159,000. February 2023, 94,000. February 2024, 141,000. So it's not like Biden was getting it under control, because he obviously wasn't. February 2025, 8,500 illegal border crossings. No legislation had to be passed. They kept saying that they needed legislation. No, they didn't. Trump did it all through executive order and by being competent. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Tom Homan is doing the right things? Is doing the right thing in getting these people out of here? Whether or not they have to separate families. Because if you committed a crime, you're here illegally, you have to pay the consequences for your actions. Because if we don't have border security, we don't have borders, we don't have national security. But I would be really interested to see what you guys think. Do you think that this assemblyman and mayoral candidate for mayor in New York went over the line with this, screaming at Tom Homan? When Tom Homan is obviously just trying to keep our community safe. But anyways, guys, yeah, let me know what you think. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to join the pack. I'll see you guys next episode on WolfPack React.